Sean Strickland has been exposed for being a complete hypocrite. He just recently went on Theo's podcast. He had a bit of a breakdown on the podcast.
Dude, I remember like laying in bed. Like I remember I stopped believing in God, man. Like, you know, like I have, yeah, it's crazy shit, dude. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bud. I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all good, dude.
We don't have to talk, man. I can just sit here with you for a minute.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. Whenever Dreykus goes on there and like he jokes about that shit,
Right.
It's like, dude, you have no idea.
It lands in a real place.
Oh yeah, no, like I can kill you, dude. You have no idea.
And he spoke about Dreykus du Plessis crossing lines with the pre-fight trash talk that we saw at the UFC seasonal press conference. Coming from Sean Strickland, one of the biggest trash talkers and line crossers in MMA right now. This is crazy to me that he went out and said this. Now, his exact words were, there's some things that are off limits. You don't really talk about a man's wife. Sean Strickland talked about Ian Gary's wife, though. You don't talk about a man's kids. And you don't talk about a kid being abused. I tried to ignore it. I was boiling. Whenever Dreykus du Plessis goes on there and he jokes about that shit, dude, you have no idea. I'll effing kill him. You have no idea. I think the issue is, too, when you're a kid and you're made to be a victim your whole life, as an adult, you're like, never again. I'll kill the man. That right there is a vile shot right back at DDP talking about killing him. Obviously, you guys know, unless you've been living under a rock, they got into a pre-fight scuffle at that UFC 296 event. They were suspiciously seated right near each other with Strickland in front and DDP directly behind him. That wasn't an accident. That was on purpose. Oh no, the UFC wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do it to sell a fight by having a pre-fight scuffle they can play throughout the buildup of the whole thing with immense shit talk. Come on now, open your eyes. I think he's a complete hypocrite for this because Sean Strickland ripped Dreykus du Plessis apart at the seasonal press conference. I got clips from the seasonal press conference I want to go through, talk about, and react to. So make sure you guys smash the like button here. And if you're new, subscribe. We got to dig deeper into this because Sean Strickland is the king of line cross and maybe second to Colby Covington. And I found it kind of crazy that he's going out there and saying this. All right, let me put a headphone in and let's get this seasonal press conference talk underway. We'll react to everything. I actually have timestamps written down too as we go through it all. Okay, so first clip is going to be shot number 1 thrown by Sean Strickland. Here it is.
Tough guy. The only thing, Dreykus, just don't let your coach grab your dick no more. We ain't about this shit, guys. It's going to throw me off. I'm going to be fighting. I'm going to look over. They're going to be making out and shit.
So he attacked him right away, implying that him and his coach have a, homosexual relationship with one another. Now, I will say, there is some very sus photos of Dreykus du Plessis and his coach kissing on the lips and whatnot, and DDP definitely crosses the line with some sus post on Instagram too, like proposing to a friend. He's said to have a girlfriend. I don't think that this is actually true, that he's secretly gay. I don't know. From what Cameron Simon said too, is that's part of the South African culture. They're kind of like very hands-on. Still, that's a dig. That's a little jab. Dreykus ate it on the chin though. You can see him smirking here, but he didn't fire anything back really until the very end. We'll get to it. Let's get to the next clip. The next clip, this one actually wasn't directed at Dreykus du Plessis, but it's Sean Strickland saying some out-of-pocket and sexist shit, you could say. Now, was it funny? Is it just a joke? Absolutely. But if we're talking about crossing lines, Strickland crosses all of them.
I'm fighting in the States. They had, they call me sexist, but here I am going to Canada to help a woman co-main event. All the girls in there are just saying,
like, that's funny, don't get me wrong, but Sean Strickland's willing to cross lines. And now he's so upset that he's on Theo's podcast having a breakdown about Dreykus du Plessis crossing a line when Strickland is the line crosser. There's another one. This is another dig at Dreykus du Plessis from Sean. Let's get to it. It's at 7:10 here. All right, here we are now.
I fucking walked through him while your bitch ass was icing a fucking ankle.
Like I said, that's the height of your career. You will always remember that fight.
Go your coach, you
He called him a fag there. Another line that some would say is not to be crossed, right? But hey, Dricus du Plessis, he eats it on the chin again. It's the fucking fight game. And if you're Sean Strickland, a known shit talker, you're going to have somebody eventually fire a heavy missile right back. And we found out that Strickland can throw some hammers with his mouth, some real shit talk. But he got that glass shit talk jaw because he broke down. We got the next one. We got another one. We got another one of him digging at DDP and his coach's relationship. And du Plessis, he eventually has enough. We'll play this one out right here. This is if things get hot here.
Don't gotta worry about finishing. Your coach will finish you in the back like you're fucking used to.
Me saying things got hot here is sus as fuck, but that's hilarious. This is the most replayed part of the entire video, and you know why.
Don't worry about that. You're gonna get fucking finished that night. Your coach got you.
Bro, why are you so angry? Bro, you think your dad beat the shit out of you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me.
Look at Sean Strickland's face. The eyes tell all. The squint, you can tell that he's pissed now. He reached a point. A button was pushed that Sean Strickland, no opponent in the past has ever pushed that button on him before. And he took the flack right there. It was hot. He comes back, though. Let's finish it off.
I'm gonna show you what it's like to beat you.
Dricus.
I mean, every childhood memory you have is gonna come back.
Strickland don't like looking at his opponent, too. He looked at Dricus right there. He don't like looking at him before when the shit talk's going.
I'm in there with you. Every single one. The one where you lie in bed at night, where your dad comes in and he beats the shit out of you.
I will take your fucking soul. You understand me, you fucking pussy?
A nerve was more than hit.
Yeah, you laugh, you
Yeah, I got a nerve. I see I hit a nerve there.
Yeah.
You can see Strickland's feeling it. The emotions are flowing, and he's damn upset. So, we analyzed this whole seasonal press conference. And what do we see from it? Sean Strickland threw plenty of jabs at Dricus du Plessis. Plenty of them. There was a lot of shots being thrown. He ate him on the chin. But what Dricus du Plessis did is he put the kill shot into Sean Strickland. And we know the scuffle happened the day afterwards. It boiled over, or rather 2 days afterwards. We know Sean Strickland is emotional about this fight. He's in a mental space where this fight might be more than just throwing down in the octagon for the world title. He wants to seek some revenge on Dricus du Plessis for running his mouth and saying something that bothered him more than anyone else has bothered a fighter before. So he went on Theo Von's podcast and he talked about Dricus crossing that line. And I mentioned at the beginning of the video, he said he wanted to kill him because of this, right? On that podcast, I will say, he talked about some traumatic shit. If you go and give it a listen, he mentioned how his father would come home drunk, threaten to kill his mother and throw acid on her. He'd chop her up if she was cheating on him. And he said that he wouldn't sleep all night. He'd be like holding on to his mother's leg as his father just would berate her with absolute hate and terror. Yeah, Sean Strickland's father seems like a fucking horrible human being. Absolutely. But Sean Strickland has chosen to walk down a path of pushing buttons, crossing lines, and being very disrespectful to opponents. We've seen it time and time again. He ripped Khalil Roundtree, a former training partner, apart, pretty much saying that Khalil's a complete pussy. We've heard Sean Strickland talk bad about fighters before. The Ian Gary whole WAG situation that he pretty much made go viral because he did a long Twitter clip on it. And now the first opponent who's come back with some flack, now he crossed the line. You shouldn't say that. That's rude of you. That's a line cross. That's disrespectful. That's this, yada, 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 that. You are the shit talker. You're the guy that brings the heat. What do they say? If you dish shit out, you got to be ready to take some heat back. And Sean Strickland can't take heat back. Sean Strickland can't take heat back. I would say, like, outside of Colby Covington, Sean Strickland is the biggest shit-talking line crosser in the UFC, period. Dricus du Plessis pushed the button. And he's got them all fired up, riled, and emotional. That's, if you're looking for that Theo Von podcast, maybe you're like, bro, I can't find it on Theo's YouTube channel. It is only on Spotify with no video. I was disappointed because I wanted to see the video. Now, Sean Strickland probably doesn't want a video of him crying to be floating around the internet. And I get it. At the end of the day, he had a bad breakdown there. He got emotional. And like, he was at a point where it's like, you might be cutting the podcast. Like Theo said, hey man, we don't even have to keep talking. We can just sit here and get over this. Like we can relax. We don't even have to post this. Theo was willing to delete the podcast. That's how bad Strickland's breakdown was. But that blows my mind for the man's man attitude, Sean Strickland. Now, we mentioned, of course, having a lot of trauma. He's scarred from it. And DDP ripped some of that scar tissue wide open. But you have to fight this man inside of the octagon. My concern in this is Sean Strickland may be fighting extremely emotional. Dricus du Plessis handled Sean Strickland's verbal jabs pretty damn well and doesn't even seem to be taking a lot of it personally. One shot thrown by Dricus, now he's in Strickland's head. So when we get into the fight now, is Sean Strickland going to fight out of his game plan, fight a little uncharacteristic? Is he not going to have that same settled game plan attack that he was able to use to break down and pick Israel Adesanya apart? Is he going to be overzealous for a finish? That's a big concern on my front. Is Sean Strickland being overzealous to finish a guy as tough as Dricus du Plessis? And let's be honest, punch power for punch power. Dricus du Plessis is a harder puncher than an Israel Adesanya. Alex Pereira obviously chinned Sean Strickland really badly a few fights back. And if Dricus du Plessis catches Sean Strickland clean, there's no telling that he couldn't be put out. Emotion leading into fights a lot of times ends up being a disaster, especially when we get to the highest level of MMA, world championship in the UFC. Dricus du Plessis, he's keeping it very professional, and he's taking it as just another fight. Sean Strickland wants to kill him. Sean Strickland wants to go to war with him, and he wants to kick his ass. Will he have a chance to? Absolutely. How am I feeling about the pick here? I'll be honest, when fighters get emotional like this, and the fact that it wasn't just one breakdown, right? He didn't just freak out at the seasonal press conference and then at the fight. It bled over into him having a legitimate emotional breakdown on a podcast too about the situation with Dricus du Plessis. So he's taking this deep. Now, could that fuel the fire and push him harder? Or could that fuck with his head and he strays from a game plan? I think it's going to be a war. I think Dricus du Plessis is very live as an and new. I'm looking forward to dropping my official pick. Early lean before all this shit talk. I said, man, Sean Strickland can be calculated and pick a Dricus du Plessis apart. But I'm very concerned that Dricus has gotten to the point where he's in his head more so than anyone has ever been before. And I think Dricus du Plessis could end up beating him. If you're betting on it, bro, I think you have to go underdog Dricus du Plessis. What do you want to bet on Strickland, who seems like an emotional wreck right now? I'm leaning towards pick flipping. I won't lie to you. I'm all over the place. You know what? I have to pick DDP just for this because Sean Strickland's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite, man. I'm sorry. That's hypocritical. I like Sean Strickland. I'm a fan. I think the shit talk's funny. I think it's exciting. I think it makes the matchups fun when guys have some beef and banter with one another. But the fact that when somebody finally fired a shot back, he completely freaked out and mentally broke, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Talking about lines being crossed. It's like if Colby Covington says to his next opponent, oh, you crossed the line. That's disrespect when you've already crossed plenty of them. Craziness. Absolute craziness. Guys, let me know in the comments. Do you think that Dricus du Plessis crossed the line? Because the line is invisible. And Sean Strickland is deciding where the line is. For him, he's allowed to shit talk all the way over here. But no, Dricus can't say anything past here or you're crossing a line. It's unfortunate he has a bad childhood and trauma. I feel for you. But at the end of the day, you're fighting a cage and you're a guy that's known to cross lines and talk shit and dig at opponents. How many people has he ripped apart in the past? And finally somebody delivers a blow back and now end all be all. You can't cross those lines. I'm hurt. I'm upset. We shouldn't do those things. Crazy to me. I don't understand how he's so hypocritical. Yeah, I'm saying Sean Strickland, the hypocrite at this point, seems very emotional heading into this fight. And I'm not loving his chances. Pre-press conference, I thought Strickland was going to get it. Now, I got to take into consideration the emotions because they're running high. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video to the drama between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. Make sure you smash that like button. If this is your first time on the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on. I got daily content dropping. You don't want to miss it. If you got nothing to say in the comments, but you just enjoy the content, as always, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.